IVM.
Hey, if you like this show, then you should definitely check out another show on the IVM podcast network called Paisa Vaisa. It's a show hosted by Anupam Gupta that will clear all your personal finance doubts, from mutual funds to loans to SIPs. New episodes are out every Monday.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Abbas is just yawning and stretching. Yes, this is yet another episode of IVM Likes. We consumed pop culture to recommend it to you. Yes, we did it again, only for you guys. I hope you guys are thankful. We do this for a living now.
Yeah, I think you specifically watch stuff now just to recommend it.
It is
right?
really stressful. That's all I think about. And it's weird because I keep wanting to recommend something that's already been recommended. Because I'm still catching up with so many new televisions. So many new
so
shows.
many televisions.
Just all the HD TVs.
Yeah, recommend all the TVs.
Oh god, we're really sleep deprived. Honestly, okay, cool. Guys, let's begin with
Who's on the show, Surbhi?
I thought you guys would know. Abbas is on the show with us. He's being really snarky today. We have Alika.
Hi.
Hey, yes, and I'm Surbhi. And today we're going to recommend you a bunch of things we've been talking about in our office. Okay, so in this episode, we are going to talk about our favorite sidekicks from pop culture. But before that, let's get into the recommendation round. Yes, so Abbas, let's start with you. What have you been watching / listening to?
I recently watched this movie I've been wanting to watch for a long time. It's called Sausage Party.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
That sounds
really
wrong.
fun. Yeah, it is.
You don't know
It's
about
all
Sausage
kinds of
Party?
wrong.
Is it the weird animated one?
Yeah.
Oh god.
It's
So
crazy.
it's the highest grossing R-rated animated movie.
Definitely highest grossing.
It's written by Seth Rogen and oh my god, high-fiving and stuff. Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill and Evan Goldberg, who you know from all these stoner comedies like Pineapple Express, Superbad, The Interview. They've written this film. And it's obviously it has their brand of gross stoner adult humor, but it's also, I think it kind of makes a bigger have you seen the film?
Yeah, I've
Either
seen
of you?
it.
You've
I've seen it,
So I think it makes a sort of a bigger point about what we believe and the belief system that society
Oh my god,
has.
don't make it less
Of
fun.
course, no, it's not. It's as fun. That's what I was a little taken aback by how profound the movie actually was. So I'll just give you the synopsis of it in a nutshell. It's a story of this sausage. When I say sausage, I mean literally they're in a supermarket. These food products, and who's voiced by Seth Rogen, and he has a girlfriend who's a bun. So they are hoping for a time when a customer comes, buys them, puts them together, and they get to consummate their relationship.
So weirded out already.
So it's a parody on
see it.
Toy Story, all these Pixar films where non-living things come to life when humans aren't around. Only in this version of it, they are way closer to real life than the cutesy Pixar versions of it. Like they're loud, they're brash, they abuse. There's a nerd, there's a douchebag who's the protein shake is the douchebag gym guy. So they've put everybody in these stereotypes, and in their worldview of these food products, when someone buys them and takes them out, it's called the Great Beyond. All right, which is essentially a take on how when we humans perceive when they die, they go into this heaven-like place where everyone's happy and everyone's great, and then one particular food product which is returned comes back traumatized, and he's like, no, they're not giving us happiness, they're taking us away and cutting us up, and they're putting us in fire, and they're boiling us, and nobody wants to believe them, right? So these food products get displaced, and the whole story is about how these characters, this one sausage, one bun, and they meet so every aisle, like the aisle with Mexican food,
they have
is
their own,
painted like
yes.
it's Mexico. The aisle with the Indian food is painted like it's India, right?
Yeah.
So there's this very nice pastiche, is that the word that they paint? But it's a very funny movie. It's got all the gross humor, but then it's also I don't want to spoil the ending because the ending is
Don't tell us.
Also gross, but also very funny. But it's our take on how we perceive religion, and we feel like once we die, we go into this happy place.
Oh God, Abbas, you really know how to suck the fun out of a fun movie. It is just, I feel like it's a great fun watch. It's again a stoner comedy.
Yeah, it is.
It is, and it's full of puns. So please watch it for
Yeah,
the
it's
puns.
full of puns. The voice cast is pretty amazing. There's, as I said, there's Seth Rogen, Kristen Wiig, Jonah Hill, Salma Hayek, Bill Hader, Danny McBride, James Franco does a cameo. It's a very funny film.
Yeah, it's a classic
So,
Seth Rogen franchise movie.
I mean, if you're someone
who's
who's into those kind of films, Pineapple Express, Superbad, then this is definitely a movie you should watch. And I still stick by what I said. I think it does make like a philosophical point about the
Sure,
afterlife.
Abbas. No, I mean it does. Like all movies, they're obviously they're inspired from the real world around us. But for this movie, I did not think beyond. I was like, wow, this is a great watch, and I could watch it like maybe 2 more times. I've seen it 3 times already.
Okay.
It's a fun watch. I could watch it again.
It's laughs,
Yeah.
but then it also makes you think. It made me think. So, yeah, that's my recommendation. Please watch it. It's
Sausage
called
Party. Where do you watch
Sausage
it?
Party.
We need to know which platform did you watch it, or did you torrent it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not available on any of the
So
legal
fast.
streaming platforms. So
That's what I'm trying to tell
I
you.
actually watched it on a DVD. So yeah.
If you're going to be making a statement about the religion and the great beyond, please don't pirate movies.
I did.
Please
I
be a
watched
good
it.
human being. But yeah, thank you, Abbas.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Does the animation make the food look delicious or not?
It does.
Some of it does, but then so for example, the Kristen Wiig character, she's a bun, right? So she's given proportions and assets in a way that
I'm so
accentuate
confused.
certain body
You have
parts.
to watch
like-
it.
But it's a bun, so it should just be like
Exactly,
a
but
flat base and then like a
No,
fully.
no,
it's
not a
not
burger
flat.
bun. It's like a hot dog bun. Because a sausage.
But okay, I'll show you an image. If you listening to this, if you go to Wikipedia,
Oh
Yes.
no.
please go
We
to
will
the
censor
Wikipedia
this for the
page.
This
podcast
feels so
listeners.
weird. I don't like it. This is so creepy.
So this is in a nutshell the kind
I
of
feel like
humor.
they could have made the color a little more.
So they play into stereotypes. So for example, the Arabic
Lavash.
lavash is like he's wearing a robe because it's an Arab.
Because okay,
Yeah, it's full of stereotypes and puns. So like it's also funny because they have so many stereotypes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Abbas. Alika, tell us what you've been watching / listening to.
I feel my eyes have been spared of watching anything recently. I have been listening to some music though, which is a rarity. But I'm going to recommend this artist whose music I've actually heard quite a while ago, but they're pretty good. I think everyone should listen to them because they're not really famous at all. So there's this guy called Robert Card or Robbie Card, but you'll find him on the internet as Blackmill, Blackmill. He's a UK-based musician, though he's Scottish, I think. And he started making like music mixes when he was like 15. He's really young. He's like 26 now, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he got into like dubstep at an early age, and then he started making mixes with that. And then he started making dubstep, but you know, with more melodic tones. So now there's a subgenre of dubstep called melodic dubstep, which is what this guy specializes in. And either you call it melodic dubstep or chill step, I don't know, whichever
Yeah,
one.
I've heard chill step.
Chill
Yeah.
step is good to sleep to also.
Yeah, so he does a lot of really good chill step. You guys should listen to it. There's this album called Miracle.
Oh.
Yeah. I think it came out back in 2011, so it's been a while. But it's like super good. It's really great music to listen to, especially if you're like working or studying or whatever, because it's really nice in the background. It's soothing, but you know, poppy sort of music. It's really great. And I'm going to say a couple of my favorite songs from there in case anyone wants to listen to it. It's Spirit of Life and Rain, and the album is called Miracle. So there's a song called Miracle in it as well, which is also pretty good. There's actually very little information about this guy on the internet.
Wow.
He's practically a cryptid. I haven't found any sort of bio worth looking at.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so, and it's really difficult to find. I genuinely don't remember how I found him.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, do you remember listening to it at a party or
Because
something?
you think
No.
they're controlling our minds and nobody can remember how they actually discovered them.
This is
Maybe. Oh
quite
my God.
possible.
Maybe if you
The
listen to more of his music.
you should listen to their music backwards. There might be subliminal messaging inside
I'm super
there.
nervous about this now.
Yeah, well, you know, it might be possible. I think someone from like New Zealand told me to listen to it. I have no idea. But it was really good, and I definitely recommended you. Put it on in the background and listen to it. The artist is called Blackmill. The album is called Miracle, and I know he's recently collaborated with John Edge on a single called Emerald City. So check it out.
Check it out, guys. And if listeners, if you feel any hallucinations, if you feel like you're forgetting your last memory, it's probably the music.
Yeah, you can find him on SoundCloud, I think, and YouTube.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not sure where else.
You lost me at SoundCloud. I need this to be on YouTube.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Okay.
Our shows go on SoundCloud too, by the way. You know that,
No
right?
way.
If someone at this moment is listening to this on SoundCloud.
Hey guys, we have an app. Please go on an app, IVM Podcast.
What have you been consuming media-wise, Surbhi?
Oh my god, I've been consuming a lot. So this is, what I want to recommend today is an album by this guy called Sufjan Stevens. The album is called Illinois. It is beautiful, and I've been listening to it for like over a year now. Yeah, it's my favorite like wake up album. The first thing I do is put on this album, and even though it's had like a barrage of albums after this, like he also had a song in Call Me By Your Name, but I'm so used to this familiar environment, like just waking up to this music.
When you say wake up music, as in it's so energetic that
no,
it wakes
it's
you
not.
up.
It's so like it's such a
soothing.
It's so soothing, and like it's not even like chill step exactly. Like it has beautiful lyrics,
Okay.
which like kind of like got me into it. And so like the songs are not about like the most brightest of things.
Okay.
Like one song is about a guy who's dying of bone cancer. But if you don't listen to the lyrics, you will be like, oh, that's a happy song.
Okay.
So you really have to delve into it and how he...
That actually sounds like my kind of music.
Yeah, and the title's also super interesting. Like one of the songs is titled "Concerning the UFO Sighting Near Highland, Illinois."
Okay, I'm going to look this guy up.
Yeah, so it makes it look like the album is entirely based on like it's been written by people, travel writers who've had like very different experiences while they're traveling,
Okay.
and it's been all these writers have curated like this whole album where they've written down their weirdest experiences and made like tens, I don't know how many songs.
But are
made songs.
are these
These are all real.
experiences lyrics?
These are all the experiences form the lyrics.
So what did Sufjan do? Just add music to them?
Yeah, so wow, that's also like
Usually artists write their
no, I
own
mean
words
he
as
did
well.
not. So the writer sent in the stories,
Okay,
and
and then he
Sufjan made lyrics out of
influenced
this
by
whole
it.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, which is why I really like it. And another thing is that, so my favorite ones from this album is called Casimir Pulaski Day, which is the song I was talking about someone dying from bone cancer.
Okay.
And it is so heartbreaking that it's beautiful. And
It does sound like both.
yeah, it's just beautiful. Yep. So like I just feel like this, like if I have to decide if like the song doesn't like gives me like so many feelings. I don't know if I should be happy or should be like grabbing over some tissues. It's a good album. You should check it out. It's called Illinois by
And
Sufjan
it's available
Stevens.
everywhere?
Everywhere. Savan, Ghana,
iTunes,
SoundCloud. Also, if you're into that.
Wow. I can feel the judgment all across the table.
Okay, that was it. We'll do a quick recap. Alika.
I recommended Blackmill, which is an artist who does really cool chill step / melodic dubstep.
Nice.
I recommended the movie Sausage Party, which is hilarious and insightful.
Also makes a statement about the religion. I recommended an album called Illinois by Sufjan Stevens. So check it out, guys. We'll be back right after the break. And also, after the break, we're talking about our favorite sidekicks. And yes, that's it for the promo. Come back. We'll see you after the break.
Long, long ago, not in Bethlehem, but in a place nearby, there was a wonderful birth of a huge show, which I like to call Cyrus Says. A show that encapsulates everything in human history, from the first Homo sapien to the last Homo sapien, who's traversed the entire world and then come back to India. This is a show which tells you everything about everything. If you want to know, avoid Google, come to us. It's called Cyrus Says. Get new episodes every Monday and Thursday on the IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you get your podcasts from. It's simple as A, B, oh God, what comes after that?
Hey guys, welcome back to IVM Likes. We're talking about our favorite sidekicks. Hiya!
Yeah.
The people who get overshadowed by the main kicks.
Yes.
It's not
overshadowed. I feel like it's so important.
What's a main kick?
Sidekicks.
A main person?
The main person.
The lead? You mean the lead?
The lead, yeah. Do you know how sidekicks got their name?
No, I
No,
don't.
tell me.
Oh, because I looked it up right now before the show. So apparently sidekicks came from pickpocketing slang.
Okay.
In the 18th century, I guess, because that's when it was popular. But a kick was a pocket. And the sidekick was the pocket in your front left
Ooh,
trouser.
so like a
leg.
side pocket.
Yeah. And it was considered the safest pocket. That, it would be really
Oh my
difficult
God.
to...
What
Like
about...
stuff you, like the pocket you fell back on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like the safe pocket,
Yeah.
like the one you relied on.
Oh my God, which is why we are not safe because we don't have any pockets in our dresses.
I know, right?
We need more, again, it's a PSA, we need more pockets.
Yes.
Alright guys, let's talk about your favorite sidekicks. Abbas?
Favorite sidekicks? Okay, so obviously there's going to be a lot of overlap because a lot of I'm going to name some really popular things. So obviously the obvious one, I think the moment you say sidekick, I think of Robin from Batman and Robin. Almost every iteration of Robin I have liked from the TV show in the comics, but obviously my favorite Robin is the original Dick Grayson.
Can you name all the Robins?
Yes.
I'll
this
try.
is a real
So
test.
Dick Grayson, Damian Wayne, who's the last one, the guy who became the Red Hood. What was his name?
Jason Todd.
Jason Todd. Yeah, and then there was one in between. No,
You
I
know
can't
what?
name all.
And you took
I have
3 days
never read.
to research.
I just want to point out I have never read a DC comic and I still know more Robins.
I just
than
want
you.
to point out Abbas took 3 days to research about this topic.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who was in The Dark Knight Rises, and Chris O'Donnell, who was in Batman and Robin, the movie.
No, those are actor names.
But yeah, Robin definitely takes the top spot. Jesse Pinkman from Breaking Bad,
Yeah.
I think was a great sidekick.
Yes.
Another thing that makes it great is because Aaron Paul, who played the character, so apparently he was going to be killed. The character was going to be
Yeah.
killed off in like the 4th episode of the first season.
Oh, wow.
But
I had
Aaron
no
Paul
idea.
was so good, and they liked him so much that they were like, let's drag him onto the second
Are
season.
you serious?
Yeah,
Are
and
you
then,
saying they didn't write the whole thing? They only wrote first 4 episodes and then went
so
back
there
to
was
writing it?
a rough idea of where Walter White's character would go, but then they wanted to take that journey alone. They didn't want to have a sidekick with him. So it was like Aaron Paul would introduce him to the world of drugs and drug dealing, and then he would die, which would then become another kind of
Guilt
chink in the
yeah.
armor for Walter White. But Aaron Paul was so good that they just let him stay till the very end of the show.
That's fun.
We should do another segment, sidekicks who outlived their welcome.
Number 3, again, very famous character from a very famous franchise, Ron Weasley.
Ooh.
Is
Hermione also is a sidekick.
He's a sidekick, yes.
Do you like Ron better than Hermione?
Slightly. Because Ron's funny
I don't
and
know.
he's a
Hermione's
bit of a
got
loser,
it.
so I kind of connect with him. And then he gets the girl in the end, so it's
That's
like,
true.
it's the underdog story. So
Alika doesn't quite agree.
those are my
but-
top 3. I'll name some more, but I want to know what you guys have.
Okay, I mean, I have a whole bunch of sidekicks. I really liked Bucky Barnes as sidekick to Captain America. Right in the beginning. And actually, I like to talk about a little about like why sidekicks were important. If you notice, a lot of DC comics and some Marvel comics, a lot of the superheroes there have sidekicks.
Yeah.
In fact, DC Comics has so many sidekicks, they went and made another show out of it called
yeah.
Young Justice.
Yeah.
By the way, go watch that show. I should have recommended that show today.
Well, too late.
Well,
Blackmail it is.
Yeah, I'll recommend it next episode. But they have a whole bunch of sidekicks, and I was delving into like why do people require so many sidekicks? Like why is the sidekick so important? And I found out that basically sidekicks became important one as because DC, when they started out, they had a whole bunch of adult heroes, and they decided that they want the kids and the youth to get into the comics as well.
Yeah.
And they weren't connecting as well with the adult
Yeah.
heroes like Superman and Batman and whatever. So they're like, let's introduce them new, young,
Yeah.
plucky heroes who our kids will connect with.
And they're like really 10, 12-year-old kids in
Yeah.
the comics. I'm like, this guy, Batman is letting a 12-year-old fight crime with him.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Dick Grayson was like 12 or 13
Yeah.
when he joined from the
Wow.
circus as an orphan.
Oh wow, I had no idea about
Yeah.
this.
So basically, the sidekick was there to provide like a point where they can, where the young kids could connect with. So sidekicks were really good for exposition points in the story. So when they would ask the hero, "Hey, what's up with this guy?" and then the hero would go into the backstory of that guy or whatever. And also there were good moral points for the hero, especially like when they'd have to prove as a foil for the hero.
Oh yeah.
To say like, no, you're doing a wrong thing, Batman. You can't go down the dark path like this person did.
Ooh, yeah. So it's like your inner voice, but like out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because especially
Is
in
it that?
comics, it was much easier to show the dialogue
Yeah.
between two people. And then obviously it translated really well into
Yes.
TV because you can't have little boxes on TV saying, but this is not what he was thinking in real life.
That's true.
So that's why sidekicks became super popular in comics. Yeah,
That's fun.
I really like Bucky Barnes as Captain America because I'm not a big fan of DC Comics, as you could probably tell from all my other appearances on the show. Yeah, I don't know if this counts as a sidekick. I feel really weird with this counting as a sidekick, but apparently Samwise Gamgee is Frodo's sidekick.
Of course he is, yes.
Guys,
But he's
honestly, I have no
kind of
idea
like a main
what
character.
all these people are. And
So who are some of your favorite sidekicks?
thank
Surbhi?
you. I thought you'd never ask.
Yes, please.
But
But wait a minute, just like you don't know who Frodo and Sam are?
no,
Have you ever watched movies?
I have watched
Have you ever read
movies.
books?
All right, you're coming back at me, aren't you? But
It's from Lord of the Rings, yo.
guys, I haven't watched Lord of the Rings.
Okay, this is over.
We are
Stop
going
this
to-
episode right now. Go watch and go read and then come back.
Yeah, we are going to take Surbhi on a
I'm sorry.
9-hour
Oh, dude.
extended edition
I was really
marathon.
busy watching Sausage Party for the 5th time, guys. Please excuse me.
Yeah, so please enlighten us with your
Okay,
choices.
all right, Sassy Abbas.
Sabas.
Okay, yeah, Abbas is great for Sassy Abbas. It's great. That's your new hand.
I could have said Abbas.
Yeah, Abbas, Sassy, Abbasi, but no, Sabbas.
Okay, I'm
Hey,
gonna.
tell us what your sidekicks
Yes, I'm
are.
going to start with my favorite sidekicks. Both my favorite sidekicks come from TV shows, not from movies.
Okay.
'Cause, but my first favorite one, it's kind of obvious also, is Detective Charles Boyle from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Mm-hmm.
He is amazing. I feel like he's so like
Are they
opposite.
sidekicks, though?
They are sidekicks. They're definitely sidekicks because he's. I don't know if like the definition of sidekick also varies from like they can be foils and they can be maybe someone who just like promotes your journey or like just like a part of a journey. But Detective Boyle seems like a sidekick of Andy.
Okay.
Yeah, Jake. But yeah, I feel like he's really enjoyable because he's the exact opposite of like not the exact opposite, but like similar. Like Jake has a lot of jokes. that
he actually does everything a sidekick isn't supposed to do. Like if a plan is going perfectly, he actually does something really stupid,
yeah,
which makes it
or
fall.
he doesn't get any of the jokes that Jake is going
Yeah.
for. But the best part is that he's obsessed with Jake.
Yeah, that's true.
And which is what I love in sidekicks. Like my next favorite sidekick is Kenneth Parcell from 30 Rock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's because he just it's such a happy-go-lucky
Yeah.
dude who just wants to help you
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
He's gone to the point that he's like, you remember that episode where he basically had a cutout of Tracy Jordan and he put it on his
Yeah,
face and
yeah.
he went to Angie's pregnancy to see the baby
Baby
deliver.
being born, yeah.
Oh my god. So he's done a lot of stuff. And the common thread that basically running through between
Yeah.
Kenneth and
Boyle.
Detective Boyle is that they just love the
job
the
that they're
job.
in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they love
yeah.
this job and
Yeah.
they're obsessed with the main kicks.
Yeah.
Like this guy is obsessed with Tracy Jordan and Detective Boyle is
Yeah.
obsessed with Jake.
Yeah.
So I mean, like that's my kind of sidekick.
Yeah. Another detective who has a sidekick is Sherlock Holmes. and
Yeah,
Dr.
Watson.
Yes,
Probably
Watson.
the OG sidekick.
Yeah. Wait, that's when the definition came about.
But do you think it makes a difference because we read the stories from Watson's point of view? So he's kind of like the guy who's telling you the stories.
But like he himself refers to
Yeah, that's true.
himself as
Yeah.
Sherlock Holmes'
Again, he's
lesser
also-
partner. He's very self-depreciating.
Yeah, he's
about
also
it.
in awe of Sherlock
Yeah.
when he's solving. So I put down Shaggy from Scooby-Doo as a sidekick. Does he count?
Wait, is Shaggy the sidekick or is Scooby-Doo
No,
the
Shaggy
sidekick?
is the sidekick.
Wait.
Is he Scooby's sidekick?
Yeah.
I don't feel like Scooby takes the spotlight that often.
Yeah, also
Or
Scooby-Doo
is
is
Scrappy
super
the
overrated.
sidekick?
Oh god, Scrappy needs to die. I'm sorry, people.
They ruined him in the movie they made him. Have you seen the movie?
I have vague acid nightmares of that movie.
Okay, so very quickly, I'll mention some other names that I put down. Iago from Aladdin,
Oh,
Jafar's
yeah.
sidekick.
But
Oh,
isn't then Iago is the monkey?
No, he's
Iago's
the parrot. Yeah.
But what about the monkey?
Abu?
Abu.
Sure, he's also a sidekick, but I prefer Iago to Abu.
We should do an episode on animal sidekicks.
Oh, okay, sure. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I put down Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story, Woody's sidekick. We had a little bit of an argument about this, but I consider C-3PO and R2-D2 as sidekicks in Star Wars, but Alika was like, no, they're not.
I don't feel like they accompany the hero that much.
But they were Luke Skywalker's droids.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Groot? Are you saying Groot is also a sidekick?
But then again, they're an ensemble, right? Guardians of the Galaxy is a team.
Uh-huh.
So then who's the sidekick, who's the main guy? It's a little difficult to assess. Cody Rhodes is Tony Stark's sidekick. War Machine is Iron Man's sidekick, clearly. But it's a little difficult when it comes to Guardians of the Galaxy because it's a group.
Is it the fact that people who don't get enough, like who don't have like chalked out personalities and we don't know much about them are sidekicks, but they just like these sidekicks are just obsessed with the main character,
but they need to
don't have
played a key role in the story somewhere, or in the development of the character.
Groot has been around for like 3 movies.
Sure,
now.
I'm not denying that, but in my argument is that Guardians of the Galaxy is a group where everyone chips in almost equally. So then would you say Rocket Raccoon is also a sidekick?
Yeah.
Or you can say Groot is Rocket Raccoon's sidekick. I can kind of buy that.
Yeah.
Animals being each other's sidekick, another episode.
I know, we could totally do that.
Like,
but
Chewbacca is Han Solo's sidekick.
Yeah, but that
clearly.
he is.
Yeah.
He is for sure a sidekick. Because
Yeah.
he practically exists to further Han Solo's story.
And the last name I have is Willow from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I believe you guys haven't seen
I haven't
Buffy.
seen it.
Yeah, so Willow, one of the best. Again, when the show starts out in season 1 and 2, she's like the nerdy sidekick of the hot girl who's the central character. And then in season 6, they do a Dark Phoenix where they make her the primary antagonist. Like that's how much the role developed.
What?
And yeah,
You
they make her
serious?
the primary antagonist, so she has to go against her best friend in season 6.
Oh my god.
So yeah, so
Spoilers.
those were some of the
Yeah.
names I put down for sidekicks.
Oh man.
That's it. That's been
You
fun.
guys don't have any more names?
Oh no, we don't consume as much content.
we have a lot of sidekick names, but I feel like we're running out of time.
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
that's
kind of running
true.
out of time. But
Yeah.
this was fun,
Who's
guys.
who's the sidekick in this recording, and who's the central character?
I mean, clearly I'm the main character.
Clearly. I think Alika is the main character because she doesn't
Sure.
show up often. Thank you for being here, Alika. We're glad.
I'm
made it.
also glad, I think.
Alright guys, this was it. This was another episode of IVM Likes. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, please write to us at IVM Podcast on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. You can also reach out to us personally on our social media.
I'm on Twitter at Abbas Moment.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Cape Fox Alex.
That was Alika. I am Surbhi and you can reach out to me on Twitter at Small Talk Police. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. It's IVM here, let's go. We the IVM kids on the block over here. Just to talk, taking a break from producing all day. Coming on this podcast cause we got stuff to say. IVM Daily is the name of the show. Monday to Friday, we ready to go. Talking about stuff in our head. We might even talk about our favorite bread. Signing out, it's IVM here, the podcast network that's in your ear.
Catch IVM Daily Monday to Friday on the IVM Podcast app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Did you know that Parsis in Mumbai, instead of being left at the Tower of Silence after they die, are now cremated? And why? Because a cow fell sick in the early 1990s. Did you know that the smog in Delhi is caused by something that farmers in Punjab do and that there's no way to stop them? Did you know that there wasn't one gas tragedy in Bhopal, but 3? One of them was seen, but 2 were unseen. Did you know that many well-intentioned government policies hurt the people they're supposed to help? Why was demonetization a bad idea? How should GST have been implemented? Why are all our politicians so corrupt when not all of them are bad people? I'm Amit Verma, and in my weekly podcast, The Seen and the Unseen, I take a shot at answering all these questions and many more. I aim to go beyond the scene and show you the unseen effects of public policy and private action. I speak to experts on economics, political philosophy, cognitive neuroscience, and constitutional law so that the insights can blow not only my mind, but also yours. The Seen and the Unseen releases every Monday. So do check out the archives and follow the show at seenunseen.in. You can also subscribe to the Seen and the Unseen on whatever podcast app you happen to prefer.